Alright guys, so this is going to be a lengthy video. It might be a two-parter, I'm not sure. But with that being said, let's actually get into this. In the last video, I mentioned I'd do a video talking about basic training, so here it is. Also in the last video, I mentioned I'm doing a Q&A in the near future. So leave a comment down below in this video asking a question. I'll be sure to answer it in that video. It can be about anything. Anything in this video, anything in general. So just leave a comment down below. With that being said, let's get into this video because it's going to be a long one. Alright, so there's a phrase I'm going to get out of the way right now. Smoked. Getting smoked. It's not a good thing. You're going to hear me talk about it in this video. Getting smoked is basically anything you or a comrade did that was right or wrong in a drill sergeant's eyes. They will punish you. You're doing physical exercise to an extent where, you wish you didn't do whatever you did that got you smoked. Getting smoked is not a good thing. It's very annoying. You really want to hit the person that caused you to get smoked. Don't cause anyone to get smoked. You don't want that. So getting smoked, just want to get that out of the way. Alright, so now let's get into this. You signed your contract. They ship you out the basic training. You're on your way there. You get there. You are not at basic training yet, even though you got there. You have what is week 0, aka reception. The worst part of basic training, in my opinion, and all the friends that I made at basic training's opinion. It is terrible. It's honestly, it's not difficult at all, so don't think that. It's just terrible. It's basically a lot of waiting around, a lot of paperwork, medical information, payment information, getting shots, getting your head shaved, getting your gear assigned, your uniform, your boots, your gloves, all that kind of stuff. A lot of, getting told the rules, a lot of things explained to you. It's a lot of sitting around and waiting because there's a lot of people that they're processing into basic training and they got to go through everybody before you get anything. So literally the whole first week reception is just a lot of sitting around, a lot of waiting, a lot of not being able to do anything, not being able to talk, breathe, sit, eat. Like, it's just zero freedom. And in basic training, you don't get much freedom at all. You get a little bit more freedom the longer you're there. But with that being said, reception was the worst part. It's like sticking your toes in the water to feel how cold the pool is. The worst part of it is a mind game because you're waiting in anticipation to actually get to basic training. Like, you have drill sergeants in reception, but they're not they're drill sergeants, but they're not the drill sergeants you're going to have. They're very easy, very laxed around you. Like, it's all a waiting game. It's all mental reception, and that's what makes it the worst part because you kind of just want to get it over with. You want to rip the band-aid off fast, but reception drags it out. You don't know what you're getting yourself into quite yet because you're in that atmosphere, but you're not able to get it over with. So reception sucked. Worst part of basic training, in my opinion, and in the opinion of my comrades that were there. So, real quick, basic training is broken down into 3 phases. At least where I was at. I went to Fort Jackson. Fort Jackson is broken down into 3 phases. Red phase, white phase, blue phase. Red phase is the first 3 weeks. White phase is the next 3 weeks. Blue phase is the last 3 weeks. So, red phase. First 3 weeks. Red phase is basically you just getting smoked. That's it. For the first 3 weeks, you just get smoked. Red phase, you do different stuff. You have basic procedures that you learn, basic rules of boot camp, basic training. They don't call it boot camp, my bad. You learn the basic procedures, the basic information, the basic everything. You have classes, medical classes, how to use a tourniquet. Different stuff like that. You learn a lot of knowledge stuff in the first 3 weeks. You get smoked for everything you do. This is when the drill sergeants are on you the most because this is when you first meet them. You're a civilian. You have civilian tendencies that pisses off any and every drill sergeant. So they smoke you and break you as much as they can in these first 3 weeks to show you who's boss, to show you who's in charge. You get smoked a lot. You do a lot of PT in the first 3 weeks because there's not much other training going on at first. So a lot of exercises, a lot of early mornings. And then towards the end of red phase, you'll actually do obstacle courses. You won't do a ton, but you'll do some. And they're actually a lot of fun. That's like the first time at basic training where you can say wow, I actually had fun. So that was those were the good things. Climbing up towers, rappelling, climbing across ropes, jumping over walls, just the simple stuff. It brings out your inner child almost, but it's just fun because it's the only thing you actually got to do since being there that wasn't sitting in a classroom or getting smoked or yelled at. So red phase in a nutshell, that's red phase. We'll go in depth in that in a little bit. I'm going to give an overall condensed description of each phase. So that was red phase. White phase, on the other hand. White phase is when things start to get easier. You are going to, basically the entire thing of white phase is learning everything about your weapon. You learn to shoot, you learn to aim, you learn movement drills with your weapon, you learn like how to move in as a squad with your weapon. Like it's all about the weapon, all about shooting. They're trying to get you ready for weapon qualifications so you can pass your shooting test later at the end of white phase. So that's basically white phase in a nutshell. For 3 weeks, you're shooting weapons. You get smoked, but not as much. But when you do get smoked, it's worse because they expect more of you because now you know more than what you did when you came in. So the smoking is worse, but it's not as often. And then blue phase. Blue phase is when you actually have, like, I want to say privileges. You don't ever have true privileges in basic training, but you have more privilege then than ever. You're actually able to really, like, talk with your drill sergeant. You can always talk with your drill sergeants, but at first, like, you're intimidated to. You don't want to talk to them because anything you say can and will be used against you for getting smoked. But towards the end, you can actually have conversations with your drill sergeants, asking them for advice in your military career, different stuff like that. You know, they let you do things on your own instead of, you know, being, you know, babysat, like, because they will babysit you at first. They need to make sure you can do things and do them right. But instead, they'll put other people in charge. They'll give you enough rope to hang yourself. They'll give you privileges, but if you mess up, they will come down on you. So blue phase is obviously the best phase out of all of basic training because you're pretty much done. So that's the quick synopsis of the phases. Back into red phase. So you finished reception, you finished hell basically because reception is so bad. It's your last day of reception. You wake up bright and early the one morning or the last morning, and you're basically waiting in line with everybody, standing there waiting for the buses to get there. So basically, you load up on the bus. You're gonna be sitting there. As soon as you get on the bus, they're gonna say 2 words: heads down. So you basically close your eyes, you put your head in your bag, and you don't lift it up until you hear from them again. Immediately, as soon as that bus stops, you'll be getting screamed and cursed at like it's nobody's business. By the end of like the first day, you're gonna be wondering how a drill sergeant doesn't tear their vocal cords by how much they scream and yell. It's insane. But anyway, so they're gonna say immediately to you, you have like screaming at you, you have, you know, 30 seconds to get off my bus. You have 20 seconds to get off my bus, screaming at you. So obviously everyone's, you know, trying to get off the bus as fast as they can. No matter how fast you get off that bus, no matter what standard they set, and if you meet it, you're getting smoked as soon as you get off that bus. There's no way around it. There's nothing. You're getting smoked. Then you have what they call the shark attack. Shark attack's basically like you're the fresh bait thrown in the swarm of sharks, which are the drill sergeants, and they're gonna have a feast on you. That's basically the idea of it. And there's drill sergeants everywhere. Like when I say everywhere, they're everywhere. They're surprise attacking you, come up behind, not hitting you, but like, you know, coming up behind you in your ear, screaming at you like, hurry up, get there faster, move, move, move. Like everything just screaming at you. So you know, you're jumbled around, you're confused, you don't know what's going on, you have no idea, you just don't want to get smoked again, you don't want to, you know, be the one that they target. You're just trying to blend in and act normal, act casual and stuff. And they rush you down to your drill pad, which is where you're going to be doing a lot of your stuff every single day, right in front of your company building. And they have you all lined up, they have you in rows, you know, you're standing there stiff as a board, doing whatever they tell you. You know, in our case, they said, you know, drop your duffel bags. So we dropped our duffel bags, and they're like, that wasn't fast enough, pick them up. So we pick them all up, and they're like, drop your duffel bag. We drop them again. That wasn't fast. You know, they did that like 10 times, and they're getting in our faces screaming, drop your duffel, like picking kids out, like, you know, drop your duffel bag when everyone else does. And you're sitting there like, I did, but that doesn't matter to them. They pick you out, you're their target. So basically they tell you, you know, corrective discipline, which is getting smoked. They basically teach you how to properly get into the positions of the exercises that you're going to be doing. And the most popular one is obviously the push-up, but they don't really call it the push-up. they say front leaning, rest position, move, and you get into the position that they taught you to, and then you'll do the exercise in cadence with them, which basically means, you know, as they say the number, you're in a certain position. So they teach you that, but they teach you like 5 or 6 at a time, and while they're teaching this to you, you have drill sergeants in your face screaming at you, so you can't even hear what they're instructing. At least in my case, like, I could not hear what they were instructing us to do, and I'm over there, you know, trying to do the push-up or whatever that in the way that they wanted to. Obviously, I know how to do a push-up, but like, it was hard to hear. So then, you know, you're getting targeted because, like, oh, you don't know how to do this? He just showed you. He just showed you. Are you not paying attention? Like, in your face and everything, and you're sitting there, like, in my position, like, even right now as I'm talking about it, I want to laugh just thinking about it because it's so over the top. It's so ridiculous, but it is what everybody needs. It does break you. Like, whether how strong-willed you are, how disciplined you are, no matter what, when you go to basic training, when you come out, there will be a difference. No matter how tough you think you are, there will be a difference. But it is, like, over the top, and it made me kind of laugh. And me personally, I had never been smoked while I was there. I had them get in my face and yell at me a couple times, and I'll tell those in the other video because I already can tell this one's going to be way too long. And they were actually funny when they happened, and the drill sergeants were being funny when they, like, with it. Like, it wasn't a serious thing, but I'll tell those in a different thing. But anyway, like, you know, you're getting yelled at, you're getting told what to do, you're getting all these different instructions while being screamed at, so you have no idea what's going on, and that's their, you know, master plan, to try and confuse you. That way you mess up, that way they can smoke you. That is day one, and that lasts for, like, you know, 3 hours typically of just, you know, going at you no matter what. You don't know what's going on. You're doing exercises. If you can't do the exercises, you're getting yelled at, and they'll find a different exercise to make you do. Like, it's honestly, it's great. But then after that, you know, they take you in a room, they have you pull out all your gear, they make sure you have everything you need that you're supposed to have. So that is day one of red phase. Now, I'm not going to go through and explain each day because a lot of them are very repetitive, but that is one of the most memorable days of all of basic training. So, moving on from there, we're still in red phase, and like I said, red phase is when you get smoked for everything. You get to go to the obstacle courses. My favorite part of red phase was honestly rappelling down the tower at Fort Jackson. They have, oh man, what's it called? Victory Tower. Victory Tower. It's a 40-foot tower that has all kinds of, like, obstacles built around this tower. From, like, you know, climbing across the rope, rappelling, you know, climbing a rope ladder, descending a rope ladder, all different stuff like that. And it's, like, one of the first times you actually get to have fun in red phase doing this stuff. And honestly, like, I'm terrified of heights, but rappelling down that tower, like, I felt great doing it. Basically, that's red phase. You do a lot of PT early in the mornings because you're not doing much else. You sit through a lot of classes, take notes on them, because at the end of red phase, you're actually going to have your first field training exercise. Then after that, you're going to take a test. Lastly, for red phase, let me just talk about the first field training exercise you're going to have. At Fort Jackson, there's 3, one at the end of each phase. The first one's the hammer, next would be anvil, and the last one would be the forge. The hammer is basically your first initial entry of putting practical use into the things that they've taught you in the classes. So you're going to do a 5-mile ruck march, which you're going to have a rucksack, which is like a giant backpack. And based on how much you weigh, that's how much your rucksack is going to weigh. And in my case, I was the second heaviest weight class, so my rucksack weighed 50 pounds. So basically, you're going to have to carry that rucksack on your back, 50 pounds, and the first one was 5 miles. So you start, like, real late at night or real early in the morning, and you march to your destination. When you get to your destination, you basically set up shop. That's where you create a perimeter. You dig hasties, which are like little V-shaped holes in the ground. You have one partner with you. Once you enter the woods, there's zero talking. Like, everything has to be quiet. You try not to step on twigs because you don't want them to break, because you have to be quiet. You set up a perimeter. You get your hasties dug, which are, you know, deep enough to conceal you and everything. And that's what that's like your home for however long you're in the field for. So the first one was only one overnight stay. Like, we got there early in the morning, trained all day out there. slept there overnight, trained the next day, and left in like the afternoon. The actual training exercises weren't that bad. Like, they're pretty fun, honestly. Like, at nighttime we got to use night vision goggles, go around the woods and like identify friendly targets and enemy targets. A lot of like medical courses, like they'd have a dummy set out on the ground laying there, a mannequin or something, and like the drill sergeant would say, oh, his left leg's blown up and he's got a bullet wound in his right arm, like fix him, go. And like, you know, you had a couple minutes as a squad to fix him. They had some movement training. It's like the first time they kind of like introduced you to like tactical movements like under combat, and you learned how to do like a 2-man push on enemy troops. So that was all like genuinely kind of fun, and that was basically the end of red phase. You do that, you go back, you have like a day's rest, which you don't get rest. Let's clarify that. They don't let you sleep in or anything, but you do get like a little bit of a break between you know, the next thing you do. Like that you basically sit around the classroom getting taught stuff. That way you're not, you know, moving around too much, to give your body a little bit of a chance to heal. And then the next day you take your test to see if you like graduate to white phase. That's the idea of it. So anyway, I'm actually going to cut this video here. I don't want to make these videos too long. So with that being said, I'm going to come back in the next couple of days with trying to get white and blue phase in the same video. But if not, we're going to continue this off. This might be a 3-part series. There's a lot to talk about. Like I said, I apologize if this is drawn out, but that's not the intentions. So that being said, hope you guys stick around for the rest of this little series. I'll try and linking them all together and whatnot. But yeah, that is red phase of basic training in the Army. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, just remember to leave a like, leave a comment down below for that Q&A. And that's about it. Hope to see you guys in the next video. Peace out.